Welcome back, College Baseball Central fans. First off, we just want to say here at College Baseball Central, our thoughts are out there with everybody affected by the tragedy of Florida State and Tallahassee. All of us stand in solidarity with all of you guys. If you guys see any GoFundMe pages or charity information, please DM the account. We'd love to help out where we can. We're with all you guys, and thoughts are all with you guys that are all affected by this. Well, welcome back, College Baseball Central, man. We're here for the weekend rotation. We got you covered every Saturday morning. We go through a bunch of games. Today, I'm joined by Caleb Conley, his first time on the show. Welcome in, Caleb.
Thanks for having me. I was wanting to get on. It's been a tough schedule as of late. I just finished up the high school baseball season,
Yeah,
and I'm pretty good to go now, I think.
we're into it, man. We're deep into the college baseball season, and now there's like not a lot of conflict, so it's all college baseball from here on out. And we're pumped, man. I mean, we got so many good games coming up this weekend, and being with the Easter weekend, we've had a lot of games that are starting early. A lot of weather going through the Midwest, so we're seeing a lot of games that are playing as fast as they can, trying to get them in before the weather. So we're gonna get through a bunch. We have a ton of games to go through, so we're gonna just dive right in. Auburn and Texas have already played twice. Auburn lost the first one and the second one. They lost 2-3 and 3-8. Game one, Ike Irish hit that two-run bomb for Auburn, but that's all they got. Texas battles back, gets the RBI double from Flores in the sixth, and then lead change on the Schussler home run. 6-0 now for Max Grubbs there as in relief. Dylan Valantis gets his ninth save. And game two was all Texas. Two more homers from Irish was just not enough for Auburn. Caleb, when you look at this, Texas just keeps finding ways to beat really good baseball teams.
Yeah, Auburn was that team that came in one of the hottest SEC teams as of late, and Texas just took care of business. I mean, the opposite side of Auburn's really just been Ike Irish and Bristol Carter, like you were saying, and we gotta have more than that to win a game at Texas. I was hoping we would take one. Today's the day to take it, of course, but I mean, Texas, they just keep winning, like you were saying. They just keep on winning.
Yeah, different ways, right? Like it's sometimes it's the offense, sometimes it's just great pitching and defense. But I mean, good teams find ways to win, and Texas has been really good. And being as they've already won the first two, it'd be really hard to say that they're going to be knocked off that number one spot again, heading into another weekend.
And first year in the SEC at 15-2, I mean that's pretty dang good.
Yeah, it's crazy, crazy good is what it is. Going over to the ACC here, we got Louisville and Clemson. The first game was great. Little sloppy from Clemson, Cleveland in three errors, but the 3-run blast from Crichton wins that one as they win 7-6. And then the second game was all pitching 2-1. You wouldn't know it, but it was Drew Titsworth's first start. And he goes out there and just dominates this Louisville lineup. The Jarrell home run in the fifth and the RBI Gaffney double in the seventh. Monroe hits a home run there in the ninth for Louisville, trying to make that comeback. But really just a dominant performance by Clemson, who is showing to be the class of the ACC this year.
Yeah, Clemson's the heavy favorites right now in the ACC.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech's right there at the edge of them, but I mean they took that series against Georgia Tech a few weeks ago. I think it was 2 games out of 3.
Yeah.
And as of late, Clemson's just been on a tough stretch of 10-1, 11-1, I think it is. And speaking of that, if they can get the sweep today, I mean, they may have the ACC on locks.
Yeah, and this Louisville team had came in. They struggled last week a little bit, and then they came in hot before that. This team can hit. And I think it's going to take more from Louisville today. I know that they were missing their first two starting pitchers this weekend, so that's a really tough task to go and say we're going to go win some games at Clemson. But big wins for Clemson at home there to go take care of business and really set themselves atop of the ACC as Georgia Tech lost last night, which we'll get to later. Now Clemson sits alone at number one.
They do play Florida State in a couple weeks.
Still got Florida State. Yep, still got Florida State coming up.
Which
So
I'm
I can't
thinking
wait for that
now,
one.
that series that got canceled this weekend may hurt them a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens here as far as the overall rankings. I mean, missing 3 games out there, I mean, it's definitely going to hurt both those schools, but it was the right thing to do to cancel those games this
Yeah.
weekend in Tallahassee. Georgia and Vanderbilt have played twice. The first game was all J.D. Thompson. He gives up that home run early to Alfred and then just shuts him down for the next 7 innings, going 8 innings, 14 strikeouts. Vandy wins 3-1. And then 13-17, a little different there with the offense as Johnston gets a couple home runs there. Vandy uses the long ball to win this game. That's something that Georgia usually does, and Vandy came out and out hit him.
Yeah, it was a crazy game yesterday. I mean, after the pitching performance from J.D. Thompson on Friday or Thursday, what it was, and I mean, he just shoved and Vandy's through the first 2 games because it's very, very tough Georgia lineup. And I mean, it's been a shock to me because I picked Georgia in the series, but Vandy's starting to hit their stride here in the later part of the season.
Yeah, and my issue with Georgia this whole season and going into the season was always wondering about the pitching on the weekend. Can they get enough to be competitive in the SEC? And they have been up to this point, But you've seen the last couple weekends here where teams are starting to figure it out. They just take longer at bats, get into this pitching, and then the hitting has come through. And Vanderbilt's had struggles with the offense. Obviously, game one they didn't have a ton, but yesterday it felt a little bit better for Vanderbilt fans to see that 13 runs, especially at home. It's nice to go get those wins, but to win the series already and heading in today, looking at a sweep would be massive for this Vanderbilt team. Alabama and LSU, two games I've already played as well. First game 6-11, Alabama loses. Second game 3-4. That second game was Anthony Anderson. Man, that guy has been so good on Saturdays or the second start for LSU, and he goes out there and really just dominated this really tough Alabama lineup. A couple tough losses on the road for Alabama here, but two big wins that LSU really needed at home so far to start this series.
Yeah, LSU doing LSU things. I mean, they go for the sweep today after a brutal sweep last week and had Auburn taking down their rivals. Now going for the sweep today, and I think they get it and head into a huge weekend next weekend with Tennessee on deck. They're still in the race for the regular season title. Them and Tennessee, and that's going to play a big part into that.
Yeah, next weekend's set is crazy good for the SEC and ACC both. There's some really good games coming up here down the stretch for all these schools. But LSU needed this one. They had to have this get right series. They had to go back out there, find themselves. They've done it a little bit on the offense, and then yesterday was all the pitching. They're gonna be fine, folks. The sky's not falling for all you LSU folks that were panicking after getting swept last weekend. You're fine. You still have a great team. This is still an Omaha caliber baseball club. Don't stress so much. Go out there, get the win today would be huge. Again, same thing on the flip side for Alabama. They're not a bad baseball team. They've had some struggles lately. They're going to be fine. They're going to figure themselves out.
LSU's got a tough
go
stretch.
ahead.
LSU has a tough stretch coming though.
Tough stretch, man. I mean,
Tennessee at A&M, Arkansas, then at South Carolina, which you know what they're doing right now.
Yeah, and South Carolina's finally figuring themselves out, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. A&M found themselves. They take the series already from Arkansas. The 7-4 in the first game they win. They lose 4-11 in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday, and then win 9-2 in the second one. You can't say enough about what Jace Levelette has meant to this team, and then the 4 home runs in this weekend. Really a huge road win for A&M to go at Arkansas and win this. Listen, they had to have a winning record in the SEC down the stretch, and they have a brutal stretch coming up. So go and taking this series at Arkansas is huge for their chances of getting back into the tournament and even getting back into the rankings if they can continue to play like this. This is the A&M team we expected all year. And the Arkansas fans, don't be stressed. You're still a very good baseball team. This is not the end of the world for you guys. But I think it says more about how this A&M team, this is what we kind of expected at the start of the year, right, Caleb?
Yeah, like you were saying, they've finally proven that they are a top 5 caliber team and that they are what we were saying before the season, the preseason number 1 team. I mean, I think that was unanimous preseason number 1. And they're finally showing that their offense has hit their stride. They're crushing the baseball now. And I kind of like this team. I do like this team a little bit. And like you were saying, they got to win. They got to win 15 games SEC play, I think, to host a regional, which is still a possibility on the table. I mean, some people may think I'm crazy, but that's still a very good possibility. Sitting right now 8-10. You got Missouri left. That's probably 3 wins. Take 2 from Georgia and then win 2 out of the LSU and Texas series, and that's 15 right there. Well, that's 16. That's 16 wins, actually. So, I mean, the tough stretch come up at Texas, LSU, but then you got Missouri and at Georgia. I could see it happening. I could still see the Aggies hosting a regional, and I see them as one of the hottest teams in the country. That's a scary thought.
Yeah, if they can get in there somewhere, 15, 16 wins. Here's the other thing, too, is if they go out and they perform well in the SEC tournament, puts them in a better spot as well, right? Because if they go out there and they dominate to the end of the season, they get to be one of these hot teams. We see it every year where these hot teams are the ones that really make that late postseason run. They're just starting to figure themselves out again, and this team is playing good. They're mostly healthy, which has been the biggest downfall, I think, so far to start this year for A&M. And seeing them healthy and getting going here, it's great for college baseball, and it's really good for A&M fans. Arkansas, again, don't panic. You're fine. Ole Miss, South Carolina. Ole Miss has come in. They've been really, really good this year. I think they've been one of the biggest surprises probably in SEC play, going down to South Carolina, who's been surprised the wrong direction in SEC play. South Carolina wins the first 2 games of the series, 3-2 in the first one and 7-2 last night. Fowley and Stanford hit home runs for Ole Miss in that first game, right? Then they get nothing else. Brandon Stone goes down and pitches all 9 for South Carolina. Tremendous effort from him. number two, game two there. South Carolina scores three in the bottom of the first to answer. And then that's it. That's all they needed. They just kept going, and the pitching is just enough. Has the pitching finally awoken for the Gamecocks? Because this is kind of a team where, like, oh, they have so many arms. They should be good. And they just have had injury after injury, and guys just not perform coming out of the bullpen. This is just a really good look here for South Carolina, maybe getting finally right.
Yeah, Braden Stone, he's picked it up as of late. Getting these 2 wins against Ole Miss, that's huge for the Gamecocks. I mean, you're still sitting there at 4-13, but the schedule's not that tough at the end. I mean, it's one of the easier ones at the end of the season, and get a win today, and you're back right where you want to be. Really, I mean, let's talk about the loss last week against A&M. I mean, they was up by 8 runs, I think it was, and blew it, which was a brutal sweep to A&M to get their winning ways. I mean, if they had that win, they'd be sitting pretty good right now.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? They just got to figure out how to get wins down the stretch. They have to get to 13 wins. That's their goal, is to figure out how to get to 13 wins. I
It's just been
don't
a little
know.
bit of bad luck lately, too, for them.
It really has. But injuries have been a big thing for South Carolina this year, as it was last year. Just bad luck for the last 2 seasons here for South Carolina. But if they can figure out a way to get the sweep here, maybe they can get stuff rolling here down the stretch. Maybe they can figure themselves out and really get back into this race of trying to become a regional team again. We'll see. I mean, the Bats still haven't impressed me enough for South Carolina, but good enough to win this weekend so far. Big game where the Bats were not there at all. UCLA at Oregon. This is top 15 teams in my opinion here. Grayson Grinsell shows why he is a Friday night ace. He comes out there and just dominate complete game performance for the Ducks. Shuts down this UCLA lineup that had been pretty hot before the Beavers game on the weekday, and then Oregon shuts him down also. Dominic Hellman gets both RBIs. He hits a single early in the game to get the scoring started, and then he hits that huge home run to left to really boost the fans. 2-1 victory. Not a lot of offense from Oregon that we have seen in the past, but a big win to go out there and get that first win.
Yeah, big pictures duel last night in game 1, game 2 today, game 3 tomorrow, as they started a normal Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. But, yeah, it's a big critical series for the Big Ten race, UCLA and Oregon. The newest members of the Big Ten, and it's funny because you got Iowa right there with them. And right now, I'd say Iowa's in comfortably. I think all three are in comfortably right now, but Oregon, UCLA, this is a critical series. I think winner of this series will be will be the regional host. And I'm not sure if the loser will be or not as of right now. But I think this is a critical series for that hosting contention.
I'm with you because I think that only one team from the Big Ten is going to host, and it's crazy to think that with how well some of these teams have played, especially Iowa. Now Oregon ends with Iowa, and that's going to be maybe the biggest telling whether which one of those teams hosts between that. But UCLA has been one of the stories of this season where people did not have them in the top 25, but they've been really performing. I will be at this game today, so all you folks that are out there, PK Park, I'll be walking around with my college baseball's rad hat. Come on, say hi, take pictures like normal. Can't wait. It's going to be a great game. Should be actually decent weather here in Oregon, so looking forward to that one. All right. Hawaii and UC Irvine have played twice. The UC Irvine Anteaters have shut down Hawaii's offense. 1-0, 1-3 in the first game, 0-4 in the second game. Irvine's pitching has just really stopped this Hawaii team. And now they put themselves back tied with Cal Poly at the top of this conference. Ben Orloff has these dudes playing terrific ball in the Big West. Big West might be a 3-bid league, but Hawaii's got to figure out some wins here. UCSB, one of those two teams is probably going to step up, but it looks like Cal Poly and Irvine are in, Caleb.
Yeah, right now I do see Cal Poly and UC Irvine both in comfortably. Hawaii and UC Santa Barbara, they both fell off a little bit. At the beginning of the season, I was like on the train. I was on the Honolulu regional train, but they kind of fell off as of late. You definitely got to be over 500 in the Big West to make a postseason. Yeah. Right now they're sitting 10-10, 25-12, and they got a pretty favorable stretch coming up in the Big West play. They got Bakersfield, Cal State Fullerton, and UC San Diego, which are all very winnable series. And you need to win one a day. If you're Hawaii, you got to win one a day. You cannot get swept by UC Irvine and still think you got a chance to make the postseason. And UC Irvine right now, they're one of the best mid-majors, if not the best mid-major in college baseball. Sitting right now, I think number 13 in the D1 poll, and I think they are a top 15 caliber team.
Yeah, they host Cal Poly next weekend, so that's going to be just a massive series for the Big West. Just seeing what happens there. But we'll talk about that Cal Poly team down here a little bit later. But big wins for Irvine to go out there and they've done it all sorts of ways, right? They've done it with the bats, they've done it with pitching. This team is a really complete team and should be a host team, in my opinion, as long as they can beat Cal Poly next weekend. But really, Hawaii needs to win. They need to win today, and then down the stretch, they it does get a little bit easier in Big West play for them. They've played all the top teams early, so this is their last one where they've already played UCSB, they've already played UC Irvine. Now they've already played Cal Poly. So through those series, they got to go out and dominate the rest of the year and just figure it out. They do have Oregon State coming to town, which I will be at that series as well in Hawaii. So that'll be super fun to see if they're good measuring stick there for Hawaii. And really, if they can steal a game or win a couple games from Oregon State, I think that puts them also in that conversation of making a regional probably as a 3 or a 4 seed.
Yeah, that should be a fun series.
100%. It's so much fun. It's my favorite. Les Murakami Stadium is one of my favorite, or Murakami Stadium is one of my favorite stadiums in all of college baseball.
It's a bucket list for me. I got to go one
It's
day.
great, man. It's great. You'll love it, man. Get out there. The Ghosts of Manoa, man. It's really cool, especially if the fog starts rolling in on one of those Friday or Saturday
Yeah.
night games. UNC Vatek. Jake Knapp is now 8-0. I mean, that's the storyline, right? The fact that he's been so good this season and he's really showing up for them to be that frontline starter. Jake Knapp 8-0, 9-6 win for UNC. Stevenson and Stokely homer for UNC. Tackett, Luderman, and McCann all leave the park for Vatek, but it's just not enough. They couldn't come all the way back. Really, it was the stars showing up, and UNC did enough.
Yeah, speaking of Vatek, T-shirt fan of the day.
Hey-o, let's
Vatek
go.
Hokies. Speaking of North Carolina, though, they've been on a 7-game tear, crushing the baseball. Their bats are finally starting to pick up, which has been a struggle as of late in the beginning of the season. North Carolina, they're a very good team. They're at 30 wins now, 30-8. And they took the first game against Virginia Tech last night, 9-6. Games 2 and 3 will be very critical tonight. And Virginia Tech, they're a playoff team right now. I think they're the postseason team, maybe a 3 seed, maybe one of the last 4 in. But you got to win at least one out of these 3 games if you're Virginia Tech. And then next week is another big weekend at Duke, and you need to take that series.
Yeah, I feel like the ACC top to bottom is probably more solid than the SEC this year. I feel like there's some, from top to bottom, but you got to find ways to win. If you're Virginia Tech, you got to find ways to win games. And being at home here against UNC, yeah, UNC is hot. The offense is finally coming alive, and we know what that pitching staff can do for UNC. So Vatek's got to find a way to win one of these 2 games coming up to really take care of business here, especially because they got to travel to Duke next week, which is tough. I mean, it's just not an easy series for them. So they got to figure out a way to win one of these games here and hold on. All right, the Sunflower Series in front of a huge home crowd at Hogland Park, Kansas State at Kansas. Jayhawks find themselves just finding a way to win again. They're getting back on that train there. K-State gets the story started there with the RBI double from Lewis, 2 RBIs, and then a wild pitch gets another run. But they don't put anything across after the 3rd inning. In the 7th inning, ballpark comes alive. Brady Bollinger hits that single and like, okay, we got to run across. We're going. And then a huge home run there from Jackson Huggy. 3-run blast there, puts the Jayhawks up, and they just don't look back after that. The atmosphere was terrific. The Sunflower Showdown, I love it, man. It's great. It's great.
Is Kansas a baseball state now? I mean,
yeah, it is. They're the baseball school, man.
I know Noah was at that game, and he's talking about the atmosphere. And so far this year, Kansas has had one of the best atmospheres in the entire country, not just the Midwest, but the entire country. And I love it over there. They're getting into it. They're growing the game. And a huge win last night in the Sunflower Showdown to open it up 5-3. Both these teams are in as of now. Kansas, 29-10, 10-6, still on that Big 12 title run. And it's possible. It is very possible, and I would love to see it. Big one tonight, big one tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see what happens down the stretch in the series.
Yeah, it's super important for both these teams, right? This is a very important series for both these teams. Kansas, after getting swept by TCU last weekend, who finally found their way a little bit, they got to figure this out. But this is a big one. I mean, it's really huge. And for Kansas to go out in front of the home crowd, go get that game last night, really puts themselves back in that conversation of, hey, we're still competing for a Big 12 title. We're right there. We want to be a chance at a regional. Give us that opportunity. I think that Kansas is in. Kansas State still has more work to do, but I think that they would be in as well for me right now. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the series, though. I think it's going to be a big telling series. Speaking of the Sunflower Showdown, Use our code CBC, Chinook Seedery, man. Best seeds on the planet. They hook us up. They hook up all you fans. If you guys have not gone out and bought seeds from Chinook Seedery, you're crazy. Use our code CBC. You get 10% off your order. I just got 4 more cases today that were delivered last night to my house. I woke up this morning and had 4 cases. I'm pumped. Gonna be using those on my road trip today. Caleb, what is your seed of choice there?
My seed of choice is the Parma pepper. I love it. It's the best thing I've seen from Chinook Seedery. One of the best seeds I've ever had in my life.
I tell everybody every time, that's my go-to fishing line. I have that one when I go fishing and I crush. I don't know what it is. I hammer bass, crappie all day long out there at the reservoir and in the rivers. I don't know what it is, but that Parma pepper, I have those seeds and all of a sudden magically I'm just hammering fish. So
see, I still got about 3 boxes left of the Chinook seeds they gave me before the season started.
I did have a giveaway where we gave away 148 bags. So,
Wow.
we've
That's
done a lot of giveaways here on the program. We've done a lot of giveaways in stadiums. I know a lot of my Beaver fans were loving that. Duck fans, I gave away a ton down there. Can't wait. I mean, Chinook Seeds, guys, if you guys haven't got them, go out, get them. CBC is the code. You get 10% off your entire first order. Buy sampler packs, or if you already know what flavors you want, go buy them. And if you haven't tried the cinnamon toast, you're crazy. Go try them out.
Speaking real quick, can I say something?
Yeah.
Speaking of Beaver fans, your
Yeah.
fan base is absolutely awesome. I think they have the most engagement on my Twitter than any other fan base. I absolutely love it. It reminds me a lot of the Auburn basketball fan base, which is pretty nuts. It's a big fan base, and I think your Oregon State fans are the exact same, and I love it. They always come flooding in when I post about Oregon State, they come flooding in.
Yeah, they're terrific. It's a terrific fan base. I mean, that's really what got me started covering college baseball. And then what got me noticed here by College Baseball Central is the Beaver fan base were all like, hey, you got to go check this guy out. And now I cover the whole nation. But man, I every time I go home, go down to their stadium, it's great. I can't believe the fan base. They're terrific. So
Yeah,
glad they're looking out for you there. All right. Second half of the show here, Kentucky 2, Tennessee 8. Wildcats scored 2 in the first with that home run from Burks. You're like, okay, what's going on here? And then the Vols answer immediately, never look back. Cannon Peebles hits a couple of home runs there to cap off the night. Liam Doyle does Liam Doyle things, adding another 9 strikeouts in his 7 innings pitched. He leads the country in strikeouts. Just a really good performance here from Tennessee at home. They're just going out there and winning baseball games when they need to.
Yeah, like you were saying, Liam Doyle doing Liam Doyle things. He's been elite. Last night, getting another win, 8-2. Tennessee's just being dominant like they have been the last few years. 33-5, 12-4 in state play. They'll be going for the sweep again this weekend, winning tonight and winning tomorrow, and getting ready for that big series, like I was saying earlier, against LSU next weekend. And it's a good bounce back after losing that series. A&M going 5-1 in the last 6 games, and I think they can get the series win this weekend.
Yeah, I think they need to go get it. It's a big win there to start this one off here. Not looking too far ahead at that LSU series, so they really need to go out, dominate there tonight. We're going to see what happens there. This Kentucky team is better than they have played so far this season, but there are also a lot of new guys, and I think that they just haven't quite gelled yet. This Tennessee team has, and they need to go out there and go get another couple wins to really get ready for that LSU series and stay in the hunt for the SEC regular season title. A team that is in the hunt, Iowa. Man, they go out and win again, 6-5 last night at Michigan, a back-and-forth game. Iowa ties it up on the Rogers double in the 5th, and then they took the lead in the 6th with the Moore single. The bullpen for Iowa shuts the door going 5 innings, 0 runs, and just 3 hits. Now, they're 15-4 in conference. They didn't have a good non-conference, but they're 15-4 in conference and sitting atop of that Big Ten conference now.
Yeah, first place in the Big Ten. That's a big statement made, especially with the new members, UCLA, Oregon, USC.
Yeah.
And with another win last night at Michigan. Michigan's a good team. They won it 6-5. They've had series wins They've won every series. Yeah, they've won every Big Ten series so far this year. And I think they'll keep doing it again today. They'll win the series today. And, I mean, they may not lose another series until the Oregon series, the last series of the year. That's what it's looking like. I mean, you got Michigan finishing up this weekend. You got Indiana at Washington. Then you got Oregon at home. It's going to come down to the stretch between those teams, the 2 teams in the Big 10 regular season title.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana's a big series, right? So they're going to have to go and win that one. They got to take care of business still against Michigan. They got to go out there. They got to continue to dominate because I think that they're going to have a hard time with that Oregon series. But who knows? The way Iowa's playing right now, and what they had been doing is Cape Obermuller had been so good on Fridays for them, and he struggled a little bit last night. Michigan got to him a little bit early, but that bullpen came out and just dominated. It was really important there for Iowa to go out and get this win. To give up 0 runs there and only 3 hits for the next 5 innings and shut them down, crazy, crazy, especially at Michigan. So big win there for Iowa on the road. They got to figure out how to go get another one to get the series. Georgia Tech, one of the hottest teams in the country, goes and loses at Miami, who's just starting to come alive. But college baseball is better when Miami's good and they're starting to figure themselves out here a little bit. Solid pitching for Miami. Griffin Huggis goes out there, battles through stuff. He had bases loaded, no outs a couple times, goes out there and stops Georgia Tech from scoring in both those innings there. Big strikeouts when needed, holding the Yellow Jackets lineup down to just 2 runs on the day. Great job from the bullpen also of Miami coming out there. They gave up one late, but really they just stopped this Georgia Tech team who'd been on fire.
Yeah, big win last night for Miami, 4-2 over Georgia Tech, stopping that high-powered Georgia Tech offense. I will see Georgia Tech next week on Tuesday night against Auburn at Auburn. It should be a really good game.
Yeah.
But Miami, they've been hot as of late. I mean, won the series at Pittsburgh, then won the last weekend against Duke, and now one game on against Georgia Tech. They get this series win, they may be a team to talk about making a regional this year. And like you were saying, baseball is so much better when Miami is good.
Yeah, I was laughing. Tanner Smith, who was an ex-Beaver, is now down there catching for Miami. He gave me a hard time because the ACC pick 'em I picked against them last week, and he's like, "Don't count us out." You're right, Tanner. I
Yeah.
can't count you guys out. You guys keep going out there and finding ways to win. The pitching has been really good for Miami, and if they can continue this against Georgia Tech, I mean, chalk it up that 3 series wins in a row in the ACC. That's not easy to do. I don't care who you're playing. It ain't easy.
No, you're correct out there.
Cal Poly and UCSB, 2 teams that we talked about earlier there in the Big West. They've split so far. So Cal Poly won the first one 4-3 in 11 innings. Jake Torres goes to the final 3 innings for them, allowing just 1 hit. Really good performance there to stop that UCSB team and go out there and get the win in extra innings for Cal Poly. They lose the next one 4-5. UCSB shuts down this Cal Poly offense pretty good, actually holding to 4 runs for both games. Mustangs scored around the ninth, and they had guys on. They just couldn't push it across there to get the lead. Rubber match today and UCI coming up next weekend. This is a big one for Cal Poly on the road at UCSB. And it's also big for UCSB to try to stay in this hunt as far as getting a regional.
Yeah, big stretch for Cal Poly here. First 2 games of this series were excellent. First game went to 11 innings, I think it was, and Cal Poly won 4-3. And then last night losing 5-4. You got Fresno State in the midweek, then you got UC Irvine. Yeah, big stretch. Cal Poly, you got to win today, I think. I think you got to win today. You're 8-2 in your last 10. And UC Santa Barbara, if they win today, they're going to be another team to be talking about having a postseason push. Because right now I do have the Big West with 2 bids, like I was saying earlier, Cal Poly and UC Irvine. UC Santa Barbara wins today. They're back on that edge, and they're probably going to be getting in. But a 72 RPI is not going to be helping them out very much. Let me see. Who's UC Santa Barbara got left? They got UC San Diego, Cal State Fullerton, Loyola Marymount, and Bakersfield. So those are all
very
winnable.
similar to Hawaii, right? Where they're both those teams can make that run late. I don't think they're going to get 4 teams in like this Big West was hoping. I think the RPI is a little bit too low for that, right? But if you make a run, if you're UCSB and you go out there and you win 12 to 15 games here down the stretch and you go out there and figure out a way, getting a big one here against Cal Poly would be massive. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's a 2 bid league right now, maybe 3 if Hawaii or UCSB get hot. I don't think they're going to get all 4 teams in though.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I see 3 maybe, 4 is not going to happen.
And 3 is going to take a stretch, right? It's going to take Hawaii or UCSB to really get hot late and go out there and maybe sweep some series. And like I said, if Hawaii has that one coming up that's going to boost their RPI with Oregon State, I think that helps them out if they can go out there and get a win, especially at home. That's a big series. But UCSB doesn't really have a ton left on the rest of their schedule, so they're going to have to go out and dominate.
No, the best team on the schedule besides the game day against Cal Poly is USC, RPI 48. Everybody else is in the hundreds or 200.
Yeah, they got to help themselves out. They got to go out there and get some wins. Those losses early piled up for UCSB, so they got to figure it out. Again, I think Hawaii has the best chance to be that 3 seed, but it could be UCSB if they go out there and they win, if they go on some sort of 90% winning stretch down here at the stretch. Florida, a team that needs to get on a winning stretch if they want to do anything to get back into the regional talk, wins 13-3 at Mississippi State. Danae homers twice. Heyman has the big home run, the big 3-run shot there in the seventh or the sixth inning to cap off a 7-run sixth inning. Just what the Gators needed. And they go out there and pummel 17 hits on the day. Pico Cone wasn't bad for Mississippi State, but then as soon as they got to that bullpen, it was over.
Yeah, 7-run sixth inning from Florida. Ever since they won the national title in basketball, they're 7-0. I don't know if that's a good bit right there, but I mean 7-0, and you got Mississippi State again this weekend.
Yeah,
finish out the series. Big win last night, Florida. Big win, much needed to get them to 5-11 in conference play. And I mean the stretch coming up isn't. I mean it's Arkansas, South Carolina, and then you got Texas and Alabama. So yeah, it's pretty tough, but you got to win today and win tomorrow. I think for Florida.
Yeah, they got to figure out how to win games, right? I mean, they're going to have to beat some of these teams to get in. The line is you got to get to 13 wins. 13 wins typically gets you into the tournament. I don't know with the expanded 16 teams now if that's going to be the line still, if it's going to be 12 maybe, but you got to figure out a way to go get wins. I think that 13 still is the number that I look at when I say, hey, is an SEC team good enough to get in? It's not like Florida was terrific in the non-conference. They were okay, but they weren't terrific in the non-conference. So you got to go out there and get 13. So that means they got to find 8 more somehow down the stretch here in this SEC. Getting 2 more this weekend would be massive at Mississippi State. Mississippi State's a tough place to play. Starkville is great, but you know, for Florida State, for Florida, they got to go out in there and beat Mississippi State this weekend.
Right now, they're sitting 4-12 in quad 1 games. So I'm not.
I know
really
that's what I'm saying.
That, but
it's tough.
But there's one little tidbit about the selection committee this year. The athletic director is the chairman.
I know. I still think they got to get to 13 wins. I'd be shocked if they even consider them at 12 wins. And being that they're 5 now, they got to go out there and find 8 more wins down the stretch.
I think 13 is a floor. You got
13 is floor. And I think if you get 13, that you're in. I think that any SEC team that gets to 13, that's what I was telling A&M fans the other day. I'm like, don't stress. Just get to 13 wins. And now they're looking at, we can get to 15. I'm fine with that, but you got to get to 13. 13 puts you back in the conversation of getting into a regional. Arizona and BYU. Arizona loses that first one, blown open by an 8-run 7th inning for the Cougars. Huge win at home there for BYU. Arizona comes back and wins the second game. Huge home run from Mason White. The 3-run homer in the 5th was enough to hold on to the lead. Arizona's been sputtering, but holding on and finding out ways to win some of these series. They got to go win the rest of the series here tomorrow or today against BYU, correct?
Yeah, correct. They got to beat BYU. I mean, if you don't beat BYU, you're in a little trouble. I mean, I wouldn't be panicking yet, but you're in a little bit of trouble. BYU, big win on Thursday night. Mm-hmm. And Arizona, I mean, they're still 18 in RPI, 11-6 in Big 12 play. So they're still in that title hunt. And I'm not sure the Big 12 conference format. How's the tournament format this year?
I think that they're taking 12 teams in. Is it 12?
And it's double elimination?
Single. They switched to single this year also.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you got to win today. You got to win today for Arizona, and you got a big series next weekend at Texas Tech. You know how they are. They're very dangerous. Even though they're 11-22, they're still a very dangerous team. They could be one of those bid stealers you see this year if they get hot at the right time.
Especially at home. They're really good at home, but they're going to have to figure out a way. Arizona has to win this game to keep themselves in the conversation. They've had some hot stretches and some really cold stretches. It's kind of a weird team. I feel like they're missing Brennan Summerhill more and more every single week, that they really just would miss his bat in that lineup. Hopefully they stay healthy. Mason White going out there and hitting the home run kind of gives you a little bit of boost there. But Arizona's got to figure out a way to win a road series. This is a big one at BYU. Gonzaga and USC. People are like, why did you throw this game in there? Gonzaga is going to be right there. Gonzaga or Portland is going to win the WCC out west here. And it's a very good baseball team. They go down to USC, who's been pretty good, not as good as people thought they would be this season. They win 9-6 in that first game. Gonzaga jumped out to an 8-0 lead, and it was just basically USC trying to come back that whole game. Game 2 was a little bit more back and forth, all the way down to, the Trojans break the tie in the 7th and then just hold on to win that one. Series games tonight. It's been tough for USC. They don't have a home stadium, so they're playing on the road at Irvine and playing at different ballparks for their home series. Dato Park should be finished next season, but it's tough for USC. But a big win there. They can go out there and win this series against a very good Gonzaga team that's probably going to make the tournament.
Yeah, both these teams right now are in contention for the tournament. Like you were saying, why did you pick this series? Well, it's an under-the-radar series. Both these teams will be in a regional, I think.
Yeah.
Gonzaga, I do have Gonzaga winning the West Coast Conference. Yep. Right now I have USC getting in as one of the last 4 in. They're right there on the bubble. They keep going in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
Just got to find that consistency. I mean, they did get on a hot stretch a few weeks ago, and as of late, I mean, they've lost a couple, lost to Hawaii, and then lost to Gonzaga in game 1, but then
Yeah.
won again last night in game 2. This is a critical game tonight. USC's got to win tonight, I think, to keep their playoff hopes alive. Right now, 24-14, 11-7 in conference play. You got to stay over 500 in Big Ten play,
Yep.
as they got a tough stretch with UCLA coming up in a couple weeks. That's going to be another critical series for them.
Yeah, that one's the one I've been keeping an eye on, and I was like, all right, how is this USC team going to be playing at that time? Where's UCLA going to be sitting? It looks like both those teams are going to need wins at that time. UCLA probably less so needing those wins, but USC, this is a big series, and I just wanted to highlight it because I think Gonzaga is in. I think that they're going to be the team that gets in. I mean, them and Portland, like I said, one or two are going to get in. They're not going to put two teams in from the WCC. They never do. So, but if Gonzaga goes out there and can win that one, I think that they're in solidly. So, big series here today. Big finale. Cincinnati at West Virginia. First game there goes to Virginia 3-2. Second game goes 6-4. 33-4 now for West Virginia on the season. 13-game winning streak. Chase Meyer goes out there and gets the win in relief in game 1. He's now 7-1 in relief for the Mountaineers. He goes out there and pitches all these big performances and comes out and just really shuts the door. Chase Reinhardt gets all 3 RBIs in that first one, including the 2 RBI double in the 6th. Game 2, more Jace Reinhardt and Hussey. They both homer, giving 6 to Virginia there, getting the win and the cushion. Man, this West Virginia team finds ways to win, and it's been bullpen arms. It's been guys coming up and getting big clutch hits. But to be 33-4 at this point in the season, I don't think there's anybody on the planet that thought that this is what we'd see from West Virginia.
No, you're right. This has been the most surprising team in all of Division I baseball this year. 13-game winning streak, 33-4, up to number 16 in RPI. They're on the edge of the host conversation. I don't think they're in right now as a host, but they're on the edge, and I think they keep winning. They're going to be a host. I mean, if they win the Big 12, they'll be a host. I think get the sweep today, and you're looking good. Cincinnati's none of those teams that's on the outside looking in. I think they're probably around the last 8 that are not in right now. But big wins from West Virginia. They're winning all these close games. And that's what you got to do when it comes down to the postseason, to the regionals. You got to win those close games. They're 19-1 on the road. I mean, that is an unreal mark.
Crazy.
And I mean,
crazy.
This team's been super fun. I mean, strength of schedule hasn't been tough. It's at 132, but they're still a very good team. They're winning the games they're supposed to, and that's what they've done.
Yeah, when you build a schedule and you go, okay, this may not be the RPI that we want to see from everybody, go out and win the games. If you win the games, it doesn't matter. Like we can't hold you down for being 33-4. Their only series loss is to Arizona. That's really not that bad. We talked about the Arizona's 18 RPI, so it's not a bad thing to lose that one. But West Virginia's got to go out there, win this one today, and continue to find a way. But if they can go out there and stay in contention and maybe win that Big 12 regular season title, it'd be really hard for me to say that they're not number 16 and getting a chance there in West Virginia. But we'll see. I think they're a very good ball club. Again, super under the radar, even still being 33-4. I think people are still kind of sleeping on them a little bit. I know I am. I'm going, okay, but when are they going to play somebody that's going to compete with them? But they keep winning. So I keep putting them in my top 25, and they keep raising every single week. So if they keep winning, that's all that matters, Caleb.
Yeah, they got 3 big series to end the season. Texas Tech, at Kansas State, and Kansas. Those will be 3 must-watch series. That'll be fun. That'll really determine if they can host or not.
Absolutely. We'll talk about that here when we get down. We're going to break down all the conferences and where we think at the end of the show. But we got 2 series left we're going to talk about this weekend. Purdue and Penn State. This is a big one for Penn State and Purdue. Both these teams are kind of on that bubble where are they going to get in? Are they going to be right there? They're both out bubble for me right now, but Penn State goes out there and wins that one 10-2 last night. Purdue gets off to the 2 in the 3rd inning, the Sutter home run, and then that's it. That's all they did. It's all Nittany Lions after that. Penn State would answer in the 3rd, tie it in the 4th, and then get the lead and just continue to get separation. Ryan DeSanto goes out there and gets another win. He's 7-1 now. The bullpen goes 4 perfect innings, Caleb, for Penn State to just stop any chance of Purdue coming back in this one. Massive win for Penn State. They got to figure out a way to win the rest of the weekend, but they're starting to put their way back into maybe those last 4 in teams if they can continue to win.
Yeah, both these teams are on the outside looking into me right now.
Yep.
I mean, Purdue started off really hot. I think it was 20-3 or 20-4 to start the season, and they've cooled off a lot. They have 3-10 in the last 13, and you're 5-11 in Big Ten play. That's not going to cut it right now. You got to be 500 or above to make it, I think, right now. And Penn State, I mean, they're 23-13. They're in the same situation, really, but they are 11-8 in Big Ten play. 88 RPI is not very good, not good at all. If you're one of these teams, if you're Penn State, you got to sweep. You got to go for a sweep this weekend. And Purdue, you got to win. You got to win these next two. You got to win these next two. You got to dust off the game last night, and you got to win this next two. Penn State's got West Virginia next week. Then they're at UCLA, so a big stretch coming up for Penn State that could really help their RPI and boost their resume.
If they can figure out to win 4 of 6 or even 3-3 in those next 2 series there against West Virginia and UCLA, it puts them right back in that maybe 3 or 4 seed if they can get in there, if they can get that winning record in Big Ten, if they do something in the Big Ten tournament, or if they can go out there and sweep both those teams, then they're right back. Then they're in the conversation because they're right there. But Penn State has put themselves in a place to be there. They just haven't won any of these big series. This would be a big sweep for them to beat Purdue at home, and I think it's necessary. At this point, I think Purdue is out. I don't know if there's a way Purdue can get back in with their losing record in the Big Ten unless they win the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
TCU and UCF. Now, UCF is a team I've boosted up all year. They struggled as of late. They've been really having a hard time in Big 12 play. TCU has gone the other direction where they've been really hot. These two teams have split. 6-1 in the first game, TCU wins. 1-5 in the second game, UCF wins. Game 1 was all Tommy Lepore. He was so good for the start there for the Horned Frogs. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, just 1 run, getting the win. Brunson home run in the 6th was a big blow for TCU there in that first one. And then a complete reversal of fortune where the Frogs just couldn't get a hit when they needed it. They could not get that big hit. They couldn't get back in that baseball game. UCF pitching kept them at bay. Terrific series here. Finish here in Central Florida, in Orlando. TCU's got to find a way to win. UCF needs to win to stay in the hunt to be able to get a chance at being a tournament team.
Yeah, talk about TCU. They won 9 straight Big 12 games before the game yesterday. Yeah. They're just one of the hottest teams in the country, if not the hottest. Right now, I had them as a host, 29-11. That's going to be a host, I think. 14 in RPI. Quad 1 games, they're only 1-2, though. I don't know if that's going to play a major factor in it because they've not had the toughest schedule this year. But a big game tonight. Got to win tonight, I think, for TCU. And, of course, UCF is a must-win if you want to keep your postseason hopes alive. I think it is a must-win for UCF.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's big for both these squads. I think that TCU needs to go get the win to kind of keep themselves in that hunt, also to win the Big 12 regular season title and put themselves in a conversation of being a regional host. UCF needs just to be able to say, hey, we are that baseball team that can go out there and win, especially at home, and give themselves a chance to be in a 3 seed in the regional. They got to go out there and find some wins late in this season. All right. One of our favorite segments is Something Cool segment. Folks, who did something cool? I mean, who did something cool this weekend, Caleb? Or this whole week? Give me something.
This whole week? Well, in the last 6 days, Austin Peay Governors have had 2 no-hitters. One from Lyndon Gladwell and another one from Jacob Weaver last night. I mean,
Yeah.
it's absolutely crazy. I mean, imagine just having 1 no-hitter in the season. That's just a great story in itself. But 2 in the last 1 week, I mean, that is unreal from Roland Fanning's club. I mean, both games were 7 innings, but it's still a no-hitter. I mean, that's a tough thing to do, especially in Division I baseball. And Austin Peay, they've been a fun team to watch. That team is awesome. That team's electric. And I love the club they have over there. But 2 no-hitters in the last week is absolutely awesome.
It's really cool. It's just something you just don't see all the time, going out there and getting 2 no-hitters. I have loved that we've seen so many no-hitters and perfect games this year, just going out there where pitching has been semi-dominant in games, and it's pretty cool to see. For me, I'm heading to Corvallis with Oregon State, and it's crazy to think that this happened last night and it really didn't get that much notice. But Gavin Turley tied the all-time Oregon State home run record with Travis Bazzana now, 45. So he's probably set to break that record, which is just something that I don't think that people would ever have thought that he's going to go out there and break the all-time record that was set last year by Travis Bazzana, who's taken 1-1. And Gavin Turley has just been really, really good for this Beaver team. The Beaver team's getting hot. Don't look now, but they're a little bit on fire there with that win streak they've got going now, and they found the offense. They're getting hot, and Trent Caraway comes back alive and gets 2 home runs last night also. So don't let this Beaver team get hot. They're looking to be one of those regional hosts and national seeds if they can stay hot, Caleb.
He's in pretty good company with Travis Bazzana. I mean, that's pretty good company.
Yeah,
You must be a good one with him.
Yeah, you're doing something right. All right, folks, we're gonna dive right in here. We're gonna talk about coming down the stretch here with some of these conferences. So I've set up a little questions here for Caleb. Georgia Tech and Clemson or the rest of the ACC field. Now, Georgia Tech plays Miami the rest of this weekend where they've lost the first game. They have at home against Virginia, at home against Louisville, and then at Duke. They're 14-5 right now. Clemson has the rest of the series with Louisville, where they've already won two of those games in that series, at NC State, who's gotten hot, at Florida State, at home against Duke, and then at Pitt. So their schedule is not very easy, but they're 13-4 in conference. Do you take those two teams or somebody else in the ACC field?
Right now, I got to take Clemson. I think Clemson has the team, has the talent to take the ACC this year. 13-4 right there, tied. Well, Georgia Tech's 14-5, but they're tied in games back right now.
Yeah.
ACC lead. Right now, I got to take Clemson. I think Clemson's got the talent, got the pitching depth, got the hitters to take the ACC regular season title.
Yeah, I mean, still they got one more against Louisville today, and then they've got at NC State, who's gotten really really hot and really really good at home. At Florida State is that big series coming up in 2 weeks. Duke at home, and then at Pitt. I mean, it's tough. It's not an easy slate for either team. I agree with you. I think that one of these two teams is better than the rest of the field right now. Florida State has stumbled a little bit. We'll see. Obviously, not playing this weekend, so they're going to have to figure out a way to win some games down the stretch. But I think that Clemson Florida State series is the big one that's set up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think the Clemson Florida State series will determine who the ACC champion is.
Yeah,
Florida State is 11-4 with Louisville next weekend, and then you got Cal in North Carolina. So yeah, they got three big series left for them also.
Yeah, it's a lot of games coming up here for all these teams. I can't wait. Let's move to the SEC. Texas and Arkansas or the field. And I set these questions obviously early in the week, so some of these are like, oh, you wouldn't have put them up there, but I am. Texas is now 15-2. They got one more against Auburn. They have at home against A&M next week, at Arkansas, at home against Florida, and then at Oklahoma, being 15-2. And then Arkansas has A&M, where they lost the weekend series already. They're at Florida next week, at home against Texas, at LSU, at home against Tennessee. They're 13-5. That is a tough stretch for Arkansas.
Yeah, all those. I mean, the top four in SEC right now all have tough stretches. It looks like. I mean, you're playing. It looks like you're playing top 15 teams week in and weekend out. I mean, right now I'm gonna say Texas right now just because they're 2.5 games up on Arkansas and Tennessee, and I mean right now they're not losing. I mean they just keep winning and finding ways to win. And Jim Schlossnagle, I mean he's just got his team clicking on all cylinders.
I want so badly to take the field because I think somebody in the field is going to catch up to these guys. But Texas keeps finding ways to win. I mean, I think that A&M series next weekend at home is going to be massive, and Texas is going to fill that stadium up. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
At Arkansas, they got to find ways. I mean, it's going to be nuts. I think Texas's schedule is a little bit easier amongst the top four SEC teams that are left. Yes, it's A&M at home. Yes, it's at Arkansas, but Florida's been struggling lately, going out there finally getting 7 straight, those you said. And then at Oklahoma, I mean, if that's the easy games, I'm still scared for them, but that is the easier set of games. I think Texas does win. I think they win the SEC regular season title, which is I don't think anybody would have picked that either early in the season. I think that we were all riding on A&M or Tennessee, and Arkansas was definitely a hot pick, and LSU was my pick. I had them ranked number 1 at the beginning of the season. So
yeah, I don't think no one had Texas on their bingo card winning the SEC in that first year.
No, I had them being good enough to get in the tournament. I was like, oh, this is a 16 or 17 win team, maybe. Maybe they're a regional host to like 16. They're sitting at number 1. They're sitting pretty. All right. Big Ten field, UCLA and Iowa, or the Big Ten field. UCLA has 2 more games against Oregon. They lost the first one. They have Penn State at home, at USC, which is not really at USC, at Illinois, and then they get Northwestern. Kind of easier stretch once they get past this Oregon series. You know, they got to go out there and at their rival USC, but that's an easier set. They're 12-4 right now. Iowa has the rest of the series against Michigan, and then they're at home against Indiana. At Washington, they finish with Oregon. So basically, this one comes down to: do you think Oregon can beat either one of these two teams and win the Big Ten title?
I do think Oregon can. I think Oregon can. I think Oregon will get the win the series this weekend against UCLA. And I think that's going to be a difference maker. I think Oregon will win the Big Ten.
I have Oregon as well. So they play UCLA the rest of this weekend. Then they get their rival Oregon State next weekend, which I will be at that whole series down in Eugene, which will be crazy. It's not for Big Ten, but I think it's going to be big for their RPI and trying to put them back in this. I think that the winner of the Big Ten ends up hosting a regional. I think that whoever wins the Big Ten regular season title is in, and they're going to host a regional. I'd like to see Oregon win that one. I think that Iowa has been good. They just keep finding ways to win again. But I think that both UCLA and Oregon are actually better teams than Iowa is this season.
Yeah, I think the
West,
winner of Big Ten will host a regional.
I think the winner does. I think the winner does. I mean, and you wouldn't say that in every single year, but I think that this year those teams have been good enough to where you say they're going to host. I know that RPI has been a big factor for them, but again, Oregon still gets Oregon State coming in next weekend, which is going to boost their RPI a ton. West Virginia and TCU or the rest of the Big 12 field. So West Virginia now is 12-3 in conference. They have Cincinnati one more game there. They're at UCF next weekend, at home against Texas Tech, at Kansas State, and at home against Kansas. While TCU is finishing up their series against UCF today, they're at home against Baylor, which is a big series for them every year. At Arizona, at home against Cincy, and at Utah, who's been surprisingly good at home.
I feel like every time Pitt gets them, they keep on winning. I'm going to do it again, though. I'm going to say TCU's going to take the Big 12 title. I think they'll take it with the schedule they have coming up. And West Virginia, like I was saying earlier, has those two critical series at the end of the year, Kansas State. I'm going to say TCU's going to win the Big 12, but I would love to see the Mountaineers take it.
I'm going to go off the board there and take Kansas. I think that if they can figure out a way to beat Kansas State this weekend, Kansas' schedule gets a little bit lighter. And if they could, that last weekend against West Virginia could be who determines to win that one. I think TCU is a very good baseball team, but they think they've found themselves. I think they're going to have a hard time at Arizona. I think they're going to have a hard time at Utah that last series. Now, their schedule is a little bit easier than everybody else in the Big 12 here, coming down the stretch with Baylor and Cincinnati and at Utah. But I like to see Kansas. I think that they're getting hot again. And if they're at home, they're a really tough team. I think that the winner of the Big 12 conference also should be a regional host. I do think that they should be in there.
I think so, too. I think West Virginia and TCU both are on the bubble right now of hosting.
Yeah, and I think that if either one of them stays hot and continues, I mean, if West Virginia's at the end of the season, they have single-digit losses and they win the Big 12 title, it'd be really hard for me to say that they're not a 14 or 15 seed. All right, Caleb. Final thoughts as we head into the rest of the weekend here. I mean, we got some big ball games coming up. I know it's Easter weekend, lots of stuff going on, but big ball games here for a lot of these teams. What are you most excited to see for the rest of the weekend, man?
Man, I'm excited to see all these games on ESPN. I mean, this national coverage is always tough to have in baseball, but I mean, this part of the year when the floor is ours, it's college baseball season. I mean, 100%. Nothing else is going on really besides MLB season, and ESPN's don't start covering games now, and I love it. I saw Mike Rooney; he was on the call last night for Arizona State, Texas Tech, and that's always fun. Love hearing his voice on the call. But yeah, a lot of games on ESPN. That's what I love the most about it, and I just want the game to be more. What's the word? Just broadcasted, I guess.
Oh yeah, we're doing our job, right? We're going out there. People love it. I love the game of college baseball. I think it's tremendous. It's the fastest growing sport in all of NCAA. I love that Rune Dogs was on the call last night. It's funny because he actually recruited me out of high school. So when he was back to being a coach, so I always call him Coach still.
That's awesome.
Being on the call is great. So I can't wait, cool. Man. I can't wait for more college baseball. And the fact that we're starting to finally see all these games getting broadcast, we're getting closer to the end of the season. I selfishly, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the ACC games, just because in the ACC Pick'em League, I'm ahead right now. I have 36-9 as my conference Pick'em so far, and the fact that I don't have a conference team necessarily other than Big Ten out here for me, so I'm keeping an eye on those. But I've already won 2 series this weekend. Keeping an eye on the rest of them. We'll see how this goes. But I still have not had a perfect week, Caleb. But I am 36-9 in overall so far.
I think I'm in first in the SEC Pick'ems also.
You are in first in the SEC Pick'em. So keep ahead. Keep beating those guys down. Okay, we got to keep Micah in his place. He's in both those Pick'ems, and he's not in first place in either one. So we're going to give him a hard
30
time.
And 10. 30 and 10. But so far, it's been a rough weekend. It's been a rough weekend for me.
That happens. All right. Thanks, folks, for joining us again on the weekend rotation. Every Saturday morning, we're in here. Caleb, thanks for coming on the show, man. Terrific having you on here. We'll see if we can get you on another time in this season. So for all the fans that are out there, we'll see you guys in the ballparks. Go out there and enjoy college baseball, man. It's freaking terrific. Love it.